Ruler School is brought to you by Odyssey Games, where you can go to get singles for all your Force of Will and other trading card games, as well as these amazing patrons. Thank you for your support. Enjoy the video.
Hey there everybody, DMO73 here. Welcome back to Ruler School. Today we're showing off something a little different. The guys over at Altereality Games at Argent Saga sent me a package of kind of the beginnings of the game, and I wanted to kind of show it off to you. It's their kind of alpha intro decks, they're being called, which is kind of like the sketch card versions of the first 5 intro decks. Cool thing about it is they will be tournament legal to be used. It's a slightly different card stock, and we'll kind of show you exactly why that is, but it is kind of cool for us to be able to get these sketch copies and then still be able to use them in competitive play. So there's a link down below to Argent Saga's website where you can go to get these alpha intro decks, as well as just learn more about the game. You can check that out down below. But let's go ahead and just dig right in. First off, this is a playmat that they sent me a while ago. It's the Spirits, my 3 personal favorite Spirits. This is Fizzy. I can't remember what this guy's name is. And then Kite, blue and green are my favorite colors. And then they sent me this awesome playmat here. So this is the Skyship Engineer. One of my favorite cards, honestly. It's in the Alpha Intro deck. We'll talk about it. And then it's got this little cute little content creator thing in the back. So appreciate that. A little early content creator swag. But with that, let's go ahead and then, it's got the logo over here. So we'll put that right. Nice front and center. And let's look at these intro decks. So this is the first one. This is the light, so the Knights. If you've been looking at the spoilers of stuff, we've seen this. We've seen all of these cards. These are just the structure deck cards themselves. So the card quality itself, you can look at it. It's got this like checkerboarding pattern on it, and that's because the glossing was a little bit different than when they're finally going to be produced. But this is a full deck, and it is legally playable. So we've got Liam here as our champion. We've got Sola, the Spirit. And then we've got our playsets of stuff. So we've got Quorum Assassin, Quorum Blade Master, Quorum Craftsman, and all of these cards are, like I said, the sketch version. So the finalized art will be there when it's all done. Quorum Phalanx, the best guardian of the set, honestly. Quorum Rampart, all of the cards are there. And then you, of course, get one of they're calling them Tower Guardians. So these are units that get better if a tower of their matching color is broken, attribute is broken. And then lastly, we have the gears, and then finally another unit. 1 copy of each tower, because you have to have all 5 of them to be able to play, of course. And then a set of shards. And a nice touch here on the alpha deck is this is the light alpha, so the light shard here is kind of highlighted. I'll let you kind of look at a better, closer look at that. The light shard is highlighted there. Ultimately, like, I've played Argent quite a few times. I worked on their 101 series. My only real concern with the cards is, layout-wise, is sometimes the power box influences the card image a little bit too much. Like, Quorum Craftsman here is a pretty good example. Like, it takes up a not insignificant chunk of the art. Unfortunately, I would have like shifted the art down a little bit to make it work. And then it's a little hard to tell cards apart. You have to just find here unit. These are all the units, so I'll have to go look for the spells. Sorry, like it's just like quickly indicated right there. Coming from Force of Will, it's a little different, especially since we don't have like a vast way to indicate that something has instacast or quickness. If you're going from Force of Will, we had the lightning bolts in the corner, so you just have to look for that word. But still, overall, not too bad. White is pretty fun. It's like Knights. They get gears. They get better by having more gears equipped in them. They recycle the gears, all kinds of stuff like that. And then we have the other cards that a lot of people have seen, which is red. So this is Dracopult, the Dragonborg, right there. Looking pretty tough. It's all dragons. The Corona, the Spirit, and then again, we're just going through all of the sketch cards for set 1. Some of the artwork looks really, really sick, even as the alpha. So having it like in the final color, I think will be pretty cool. But having this kind of collector's item for the beginning of, you were here at the beginning of the game, could be a cool thing for some collectors. And then you have the one-of copy of the champion, or the Tower Guardian. And then again, we're on to the red shard for there. So that's pretty sweet. Then, so red is very aggressive. It's all about kind of explosive, dealing damage, sacrificing your own units to deal more damage, that kind of stuff. Blue is very much the draw bounce control color. With Gemial and Fizzy, you should have a lot of options for recycling and redrawing your cards. And then they have a lot of the like most tempo-y kind of cards too, with like checking the top of your deck, or like having this big beefy blocker, playing a guy that bounces a guy back to hand, Force Blast, cast it in response to a bounce, to a block to put something back in hand, that kind of stuff. When a unit dies, it puts something back in hand, tapping down a unit when it comes into play, all kinds of stuff like that. But yeah, there's and then some early game, Phantasmal Guards, having some early game blockers there, nothing too bad about that. And then you have Stormcaster of the Azure Tower. In the final version of the card, he's wearing glasses. That's because this was designed after Matt Cosmore of Six Sages Gaming. Pretty cool there, getting to be made into a card. And then, of course, we go to the shards, and we've got our water shards there. So that's water. It's a lot of draw power, a lot of redirection of effects, a lot of bounce, and that kind of thing. And then we have wind, which is your kind of discard, reanimate, or sorry, not wind. This is darkness. This is clearly darkness with Helena and her golems. So the golems like to synergize off one another and kind of generate more value if you have other golems on board, and as well as she can make golems with her effect. And then Luna is the dark spirit who can make your opponent discard cards. And then again, kind of going through, you can see some of the artwork looks pretty close to finished, and some they were clearly still just trying to get finalized, which is pretty cool. Again, as they work through everything, but you get 3 of everything in the alpha, and then the Tower Guardian is Nobe. Very, very strong card, at least in the alpha deck ways. So yeah, and then there's towers, and then you hit the dark shards at the backside. So there's that. And then the last color, my personal favorite color to play, although it is the most complicated, is Wind with Etten. Etten sacrifices his own units to make new units that are bigger, like cheat units into play, which is pretty cool. But you kind of pay 1 and sacrifice, and then Kite bounces stuff back to your hand and do all kinds of stuff like that. So Wind is a lot of combo where you're bouncing stuff back to your hand to make other effects trigger, to be able to cast other things that you don't normally get to cast, to be able to get other enter effects. It's all this kind of recycling, kind of combo-y kind of stuff. So very complicated, but a ton of fun to play. And then yeah, there's our Skyship Engineer that matches our little playmat here. And it's all sand stuff, sky pirates, that kind of cool thing. So the theming is pretty sweet too. And then we'll just kind of go through here. And then our thing is their big warship. So when he enters, he just destroys a thing. And then when he dies, you get to replace him with a different unit from your discard zone, your graveyard. So that's pretty sweet. And then we have the wind shards. They're all, even though the shards have colors attributed on here, it's important to note that Argent Saga doesn't have color cost. So you don't have to play 3 green shards, 3 blue shards, or whatever. Everything costs neutral or argent. Everything costs that. The colors come into play when you're building your deck, and so for more information on that, you can go check out their 101 series. I'll have a link to that down below. I helped work on that. Your champion and your spirit kind of help determine your deck's color in terms of what you're allowed to put in it, and then from there, everything just costs neutral. So that is it. There is the 5. You can still pick up these alpha decks, although the game is going to be releasing on August 1st. So at that point in time, they'll have the final versions of these cards available as well as set 1. So I just recommend, if you're interested, to just go check out the links down below in the description for just more information about Argent and where you can maybe get it, and talk to your local game store if you're interested. But huge thanks to the Altereality Games crew for sending me this stuff. It's definitely an interesting game for sure. I might consider playing it a little bit here and there, but yeah, it's different. It's very different, but it has a lot of different interesting elements from Kite. It pulls a lot of influence from Kaijudo, a little bit from Yu-Gi-Oh, a little bit from Force of Will, a little bit from Hearthstone. It's a little bit all over the place. It does use a separate resource system similar to Force of Will, but again, you just auto get 1 every turn, so it's more like Hearthstone in that regard. But if you're interested to learn more, definitely go check out their YouTube channel with all the 101s, and you can learn more about it that way. But that's it for now. Let me know what you guys think about Argent Saga, or if you're interested in getting into it. And until next time, time, this is DMO73 saying class dismissed.